Hollywood studios releasing the details of their latest offer to screenwriters in a bid to end the ongoing strike. The new offer, well, it includes higher pay and protections against AI. Yahoo Finance's Alexandra Canal has the latest details for us. Ali, are we getting any closer to a deal?
Well, it's an interesting tactic by the studios to release this proposal publicly. They're doing this to put some pressure on the Guild, which actually denied the proposal in a meeting late last night. The two sides meeting face to face for the first time in a long time. We had some pretty prominent executives there, like Disney CEO Bob Iger, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos, WBD CEO David Zaslav. But the Guild slammed the meetup in a follow-up email to members saying, quote, "This wasn't a meeting to make a deal. This was a meeting to get us to cave." So some pretty fighting words there. They essentially said that this deal didn't even come close to addressing all of their concerns. They still want a mandatory number of writers to be staffed on every show, in addition to bonuses based on how popular a show is on a streaming service. But this is what you're seeing on your screen now, is what the studios did offer. And from their perspective, they believe that they really hit all the main points that the writers were asking for. We see higher compensation, increases to streaming residuals, further protections around AI, a guaranteed minimum length of employment, and more transparency around viewership data so writers can actually understand the popularity of their work. And just to get even more specific here, the studio said the proposed wage increase would be a compounded 13% jump over the 3-year contract. And that would actually be the highest increase for the WGA in 13 years. And then on the streaming residual side, that would jump by 22%. So they think they came up with a fair deal. Writers say no. It's a lose-lose situation. That's what I'm hearing from analysts right now. I mean, writers are out of work. Some, they have livelihoods that are just on holds right now. And then on the studio side, they're strapped for cash. They're bleeding money. Streaming profitability is still a major issue. And we're going to eventually hit a point where we're going to run out of content. So at some point, some people are even predicting in 2024. So it could go on for that long.
Wow, that would be long.
The pain on both sides is just going to be too much. So it's just, how long can both sides hold out here?
That's a good question. And apparently the writers are also asking for a cut of the rewards when it comes to revenue. Could this be a sticking point, especially as analysts predict Netflix is about to have a huge cash injection?
Yeah, I mean, Netflix is doing really well with some of their revenue initiatives, like the crackdown on password sharing, the ad-supported tier. I do think that's going to be a sticking point. They want a cut. If a show is doing really well on a streaming service and bringing in subscribers, the writers are saying they deserve a piece at least of that pie. But again, the streamers are really hesitant to set a precedent here. The studios are, because if they sign something, if they, commit to giving a cut to the writers and then they're not able to make money in the end, that's going to be an issue. So it's not just coming up with a contract for today, it's thinking about where the industry is going to be in the next 5-10 years. I mean, the last writer's strike in 2007, no one would have ever predicted the explosion of streaming that we're seeing today. So it's a really challenging environment to try and think of a deal and come up with a way that both sides can sort of reach this compromise. But clearly the writers right now believe that they have the upper hand.
And it sounds like it could be possibly a while until we do get at any sort of deal, right, Ali? Thanks.
Thanks.